Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Steve with Census Fidelium coming at you a little earlier than normal. Usually get on a quarter to 10. That's the goal. 9:22 p.m., March 16th, 2026. Happy Monday. Hope everyone's weekend was went well, that you got all recharged for what's coming up this week. Mark, good morning, good evening to you, sir. I'm so confused what time of the day it is right now. Jim, how you doing, man? Let's get right to it. Why Trump's takeover in Gaza preceded the war in Iran. On February 28, 2026, these United States and Israel launched coordinated strikes on Iran, killing Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and initiating what military analysts are already calling the most consequential American combat operation since the 2003 illegal invasion of Iraq. Within hours, missiles were falling on Gulf infrastructure. Oil crossed $100 a barrel. Dubai International Airport went dark. The Strait of Hormuz was threatened. Most Americans watched this unfold as breaking news. The sudden eruption of violence in a dangerous region driven by nuclear brinkmanship and presidential decision-making. That is the surface reading. It is not wrong, but it's radically incomplete. What has actually happened in the Middle East right now is not primarily a military story. It is the final assembly of the economic architecture that has been under construction for years. If you want to understand, you need to understand what Courtney Turner and I documented in the final Betrayal, which is over here, top right, before a single bomb fell. The coup happened in plain sight. The central argument of our book is not comfortable. We did not write it to please any political constituent, and we have paid for that in criticism from both sides. The argument is this. Technocracy, the organization of society by unelected technical and financial experts operating outside democratic accountability, has staged a sweeping coup in D.C. They say Washington, District of Criminals, you know it. It did not arrive wearing a face of socialism or communism or fascism. It arrived wearing the face of populism. It rode the MAGA movement into power and then systematically betrayed it. The betrayal has a specific mechanism, the Dark Enlightenment, the neo-monarchist ideology championed by Peter Thiel, Curtis Yarvin, and a cluster of Silicon Valley technocrats, proposes replacing a democratic nation state with techno-feudal city-states managed by CEO dictators. It is not a fringe position. It is the operating philosophy of a significant portion of the people now running the American government's technological and financial apparatus. Tokenization is the economics instrument. When you tokenize an asset, real estate, natural resources, financial instruments, eventually labor itself, you convert it from something owned outright into something held digitally, conditionally, and revocably. The World Economic Forum told you where this leads in 2016. You will own nothing and be happy. They removed the statement when it drew too much attention, but the program did not change. AI is a control layer, not AI as a productivity tool, but AI as a mechanism by which a managed population is sorted, scored, surveilled, and if necessary, excluded from economic participation. These three elements, the Dark Enlightenment's monarchist theory, tokenization's asset capture, and AI's control infrastructure, form the architecture we documented. The Iran war did not create this architecture. It is accelerating it. What is being built while you watch the bombs fall? 10 days before the strikes, a body called the Board of Somehow Peace held its inaugural meeting in Washington District of Criminals. Most Americans had never heard of it. It was created by an executive action, not legislation. It operates outside the United Nations. Its charter was signed at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Permanent membership costs $1 billion. Read that again. Permanent membership in the body, now overseeing the governance of conquered territory, costs $1 billion. This is not diplomacy. This is a private equity structure applied to sovereignty. We've been talking about this, but he explained it much better. The board's composition tells you everything. Jared Kushner, whose private equity firm Affinity Partners manages billions in Gulf sovereign wealth, sits on the executive board alongside Steve Witkoff, Trump's special envoy, whose family co-founded World Liberty Financial, the Trump crypto venture. 4 days before the inauguration, UAE Royal Sheikh Tainon bin Zayed, maybe simultaneously the UAE's national security advisor and the manager of its largest sovereign wealth fund, quietly acquired 49% of World Liberty Financial for $500 million. Chump change. Mark has it in his bed. Months later, the U.S. approved the sale of 500,000 advanced AI chips per year to the UAE. This is the architecture at the top. Trump and Kushner designed the diplomatic framework. Gulf sovereign wealth, hundreds of millions of Islamic and venture capital, funds the financial infrastructure. World Liberty's Financial's USD1 stablecoin is the designated payment instrument. The Board of Peace is the governance vehicle. Each component was in place before the first bomb fell on Iran. This is kind of what we were telling everyone last week about this as being a great reset. They're all in this. They're all for this. They're all for this. They're all for this. Why is it like this? Well, some people have to die for it. At the board's inaugural meeting, operatives were already presenting the implementation plan. One of them proposed replacing Gaza's currency with a digital stablecoin running on what he has called a secure digital backbone, promising free high-speed internet for Gaza by July. Remember that? The proposal was not his invention. It was the assignment he had been given by the architects sitting above him. The stablecoin had already been chosen. Trump's own USD1. The infrastructure's operator's job was to build the pipes, not design the system. Think carefully what that means. A conquered population will receive digital currency issued and controlled by entities answerable to the Board of Peace, a board chaired by the President of these United States and funded overwhelmingly by Gulf sovereign capital. Their financial transactions will run on the backbone built by appointed technical operatives. Control the infrastructure, and you control everything that runs on it: payments, commerce, healthcare, education. Every transaction is visible. Every account is revocable. This is not humanitarian reconstruction. This is the installation of a total financial control system on a captive population designed by the District of Criminals, funded from the Gulf, and deployed by technical operatives on the ground. And it is the proof of concept for what comes next. In the final betrayal, I keep thinking it's the final countdown. Courtney and I document how the technocratic movement does not seize power by opposing popular movements. It captures them. It speaks the language of populism while installing the machinery of total management. It promises to drain the swamp while building a more sophisticated drainage system that routes everything to the same destination. The MAGA movement was told it was getting America first. What it got was Gulf sovereign wealth funds purchasing half of the presidential's family crypto venture 4 days before the inauguration. What it got was the Board of Peace, a private governance body with purchasable permanent seats, chaired by the sitting president of the United States, operating outside every democratic accountability mechanism the republic ever designed. We didn't ask for it. We didn't vote for it. We weren't consulted. We were betrayed. The sentence is not rhetorical. It is the precise description of what technocracy does. It substitutes technocratic administration for democratic consent. It replaces the question, what do the people want, with the question, what does the system require? The system currently requires the neutralization of Iran as a spoiler of Gulf financial integration, the installation of digital payment infrastructure in conquered territory, and the rapid construction of an AI compute corridor connecting Gulf sovereign capital to American technology exports. These are not policy positions. They are engineering specifications. The principal architects are American. Trump chairs the Board of Peace. Kushner designed the Abraham Accords framework and is now positioned to profit from the Reconstruction architecture built on its foundations. Trump and Witkoff co-funded the crypto venture that stands to benefit most directly from stablecoin deployment across the Gulf and its administered territories. The Gulf states are not driving this. They are the capital source. Willing partners who have exchanged hundreds of millions of dollars. in investment for privileged access to American AI tech, chip exports, and the political protection of the world's most powerful executive. That transaction is the heart of the betrayal. American diplomatic authority exercised by the President of the United States has been monetized. The currency is crypto. The exchange rate is sovereign chip access for Gulf investment in presidential family values. The American people were not consulted on the terms. There is a particular dynamic in investigative research. The work that took years to document becomes most legible in present tense as its predictions materialize. That time is now. Everything we analyzed in the final betrayal, it's the final count that is currently on the front page, stripped of the theoretical scaffolding and rendered as a raw event. The Dark Enlightenment's contempt for democratic sovereignty is visible in the Board of Peace's charter structure. The tokenization agenda is visible in the Gaza stablecoin proposal. The AI control layer is visible in the secure digital backbone now being constructed for a captive population. The private equity capture diplomacy is visible in every transaction connecting Kushner, Witkoff, Talnoon, and the Gulf Reconstruction Funds. Watching these events without the analytical framework is like watching a chess game without knowing the rules. The pieces move in waves that seem random or driven by individual personality. With the framework, the logic is unmistakable. Every move serves the same end game. And the rest of it is just promoting the rest of the book. The war in Iran will end. The reconstruction will begin. The financial architecture assembled before the first bomb fell will be deployed at scale, not just in Gaza and Iran, but as a template for every post-conflict territory that follows. The Board of Peace was never just about Gaza. Its charter says its mandate is global government. The $1 billion permanent seats are still available. So if you got $1 billion to throw around, go for it. You are watching the installation of a new economic order and global government. It is being installed at a velocity that government institutions cannot match. The people installing it are moving faster than the people trying to understand it, much less regulate it. Understanding is the first act of the resistance. Follow the money, follow the power, follow the evidence. And usually anything that this guy, Patrick Wood, writes is a ton of information. Very good stuff. Let me see. I didn't see what everyone in here is for. Hi, I'm in New Zealand. They are purposely throttling fuel. Yeah, I talked about that on Friday, that they were rationing. We got some more rationing stories coming on. Must be phase 6 for the next scamdemic controls for surveillance. Exactly. That's COVID 2.0, as mentioned last time, and the Great Reset's still going on. They want us to use EVs so they can control our movements. Yep. The kill switches, all that stuff, and then being able to shut your car off or turn it around, or maybe you just don't get to buy anything. Good evening, my hair. I'm 34 and totally off-grid house knowledge with the knowledge of every area of survival. Hey, good on you. Go educate some more people. That's a good skill to have. Good job. Let's see. Glory to Jesus Christ. Ray, come on, just chat. We don't with our. Come on, just chat with us. I know. I won every argument. Quarter by enslavement. Okay, somebody's chatting their brains off in there. Power out in Cuba. How did that happen? I can tell. We'll get to that. It's about the 60th story, but I mean, they get what 24,000 barrels of oil a day from Venezuela, so they're not getting that anymore. Ergo, but if you listen to I think if you probably turn on Fox, you'll probably see that this just gone. Well, the states have to come in and invade and take it over. So they don't say that, hey, what happened? Greta Thunberg demanding oil for Cuba. They must be hurting back. Oh, Greta's back. I haven't seen Greta, but yeah, they're hurting pretty bad. The moral hazards of war and how they accelerate technocracy. Moral hazards when your brother-in-law borrows your car and drives it like a maniac because he wrecks it. It's your car, not his. The risk is yours. Let's see. All right, here's one. This is wild. 143 million people thought they were catching Pokemon. They were actually building one of the largest real-world visual data sites in AI history. Let's see. I'll play this for a little bit. Pokemon Go. Whoops, I hit the wrong button.
Go era wasn't a collective mental breakdown. It was an unpaid internship. Every single person who wandered into a cemetery at midnight, walked into a lamppost, or stood in the rain outside a Walgreens for 20 minutes trying to catch a Snorlax was actually doing data entry for the robot economy. No V2, no benefits, not even a thank you email. Niantic Spatial, the AI spun out from the company that invented the reason your uncle fell into a fountain in 2016, just revealed it has been sitting over 30 billion crowdsourced urban images this whole time. Every Pokestop photo, every IR snapshot, every I need to physically walk to this location moment has been quietly stacking up into the most detailed street level data set on the planet. That dataset is now training a special AI that can look at a random street corner and know exactly what it is within a few centimeters. Your parasocial relationship with a fictional electronic mouse accidentally built the navigation system of the future. Slay, first beneficiary pizza robots, 90 partnership with the Coco Robotics to put over 1,000 little delivery bots on the sidewalk of LA, Miami, and Helsinki. These bots have abandoned GPS entirely. Reasonable, giving the GPS inside a dense city full of tall buildings is basically a suggestion and switch to visual positioning instead. The bot looks at the storefronts and carves around it, matches what it seems against the map that Pokemon players built over a decade of unhinged behavior, and knows precisely where it stands. Your order arrives at your actual door and not at your neighbor's house where the blue dot decided to live. The data loop is where this gets genuinely interesting. Every time a Cocobot rolls down a sidewalk, it feeds fresh imagery back into the system. Storefronts change, construction appears, new obstacle materialize, and the map update is in near real time. The more the robots move, the smarter the map gets. Niantic is essentially building a living digital twin of every city it operates in, updated continuously by the robot using it. Whatever owns that map owns something that looks increasingly like the operating system for physical reality. GPS has been the default for navigation for 30 years and has always been terrible the one thing robots actually need. Knowing exactly to the centimeter where they are on a specific sidewalk next to a specific building. Visual positioning fixes that. The delivery bots are the first use case. The technology underneath is the whole game. A few hundred million people did all of this voluntarily, for free, in exchange for cartoon animals that don't exist. The real legendary Pokemon was the geospatial training data we collected along the way.
Don't you love it that we? Hey, yeah, you just gave away all the data. You're helping the system by catching a stupid Pokemon thing. Jason Bassler, you've heard of Palantir. What about Blue Sky AI? It's a biometric monitoring company and a likely contender for the 2027 vehicle monitoring mandate. Blue Sky AI specializes in eye tracking, facial expression analysis, head position monitoring, drowsiness and distraction detection, behavioral pattern analysis using face and voice. The law requires the technology that doesn't say which company has to provide it. This is the exact kind of quiet infrastructure that fuels surveillance creep. No opt out, private vendor, no public vote, biometric data collection normalized as safety, can be repurposed for control or behavior scoring. Their tech could sit in millions of cars, tracking drivers, while the company itself stays invisible to the public. So this man, we'll play that. This man sold his home on with AI. I told a couple of guys that are in the real estate about this.
After 15 years in his Cooper City home, Robert Levine decided it was finally time to sell. But instead of contacting a real estate agent, he turned to the power of the prompt. ChatGPT.
I really wanted to challenge myself to use AI for the entire journey, not just piecemeal, every step along the way.
The married father of 3 says he used artificial intelligence for everything: the planning, the pricing, the marketing, even the paint.
We repainted a couple of rooms in the house because ChatGPT said that's where you're going to get the biggest return on investment. The most important thing it did for us was build out a timeline. Here's when you need to start packing your house.
ChatGPT helped Robert design the marketing materials like his open house handout and the online listing, then told him how to get his home listed on the MLS, the multiple listing service, scheduled his showings, and suggested the best day to list his home.
We ended up listing on a Tuesday.
Turned out to be terrific timing.
And I think within the first 72 hours, we had 5 offers on the home already, which was tremendous.
The Levines still held the open house scheduled for that following Saturday, but by Sunday morning, 5 days after listing their home, they had a signed contract. A contract generated by, you guessed it, ChatGPT.
It's exceeded our expectations.
Robert did hire a lawyer to review the contract and other legal documents, but other than that, his AI assistant did all the heavy lifting. So why did he do it? One of his biggest motivations was saving money.
We estimate that leveraging these AI tools will save us about 3% of the total sales.
Not too shocked. I won't lie. I use AI a lot. Chat. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Hey, can you make me this poster? A friend of mine sent me a poster of their lecture, and I sent it. I go chat. Hey, I sent it. I put it in chat. Hey, make this a little more spicy looking. Make it more pow. I sent it back. And they go, holy cow, was that good? I've said a couple press companies. I've sent them back going, "Hey, what do you think about this book cover?" And they were like, "Wow." My wife actually used it to rearrange the room one time. She loves doing internal, what do you call it, interior decorating, and it did that with you put the couch here, make it look like this. I might do it with the backyard here as a rental, trying to figure out how can I make this thing look better and not put money into it, that if we move, we can't take this darn thing with us. And anyways, yeah, I get it. I mean, I've used it to fix my email because my Gmail email was not working and I couldn't get anybody to help out with it. See, the website twice, sensefidelium.com, had a guy would never call me back. That would help put it to make it look better. Went to, let me try that. Let me see what it is. Hey man, let's chat. Hey, you seen sensefidelium.com? What's wrong with this? And it went down the list. Okay, it could be this. In 15 minutes, I had it fixed. Email, same thing. I had that fixed about 20 minutes. Had me do it because I didn't know what in the world to do. So yeah, it is amazing. It does work. Now, the control grid part I'm not liking, but the assistant part of it, I told my wife, if Alexa wasn't a spy agent, I'd have it in here, no problem. It'd be cool. But I don't want a Terminator in here. Tennessee grandma was arrested at gunpoint while babysitting. Facial recognition says she robbed a bank in North Dakota. Bank records prove she was 1,200 miles away. She spent nearly 6 months in jail anyways. By the time police admitted the match was incorrect, she had lost her home, job, and even her pets. How many examples of tech ruining people's lives do we need before we say no more? And, again, facial recognition part, not a good thing. Excuse me. This is 2025. Yes, true. Tennessee grandma named Angela Lips, age 50, was wrongfully arrested and spent nearly 6 months in jail due to a misidentification by software used by police in Fargo, North Dakota. She had never been to North Dakota. See if it gets in there. She was arrested at gunpoint by U.S. Marshals on July 14, 2025, while babysitting grandchildren in Tennessee. Because, yeah, make sure you come in like that. She was initially held in Tennessee jail for about 4 months. She was later extradited to North Dakota, where she remained in custody. She was released on Christmas Eve, 2025, after prosecutors dismissed the charges as evidence, including bank records. How bad is the system that she spent 6 months in jail and there's evidence against all that? The total time jail was reportedly nearly 6 months. This incident's been covered by many stories. How is she suing for everyone for this? She's going to rename North Dakota after herself. I don't know. You don't. Here's Geopolitics and Empire. Mike Shelby. Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, pending. Greenland, pending. Colombia, pending. Peru, pending. Are all shaping operatives to ensure the 21st century does not belong to the Chinese or the Chinese alone. If it is not apparent to you, it will be in 10 years. And as Geopolitics and Empire post, oh yeah, because you're going with the North America technique. Post-war New World Map. United States of South America, Union of African Republic, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, British Commonwealth nations. What year was this? Trying to think. Can't see. Here is 6G has already been hyped as a rollout of the decade. Reports are now saying it will be rolling out on full-scale commercial development by 2030. Just remember, every leap in connectivity is a leap in surveillance unless we fight the opposition. It's from Wired right here. So everything in here is linked up already, so you can go ahead and check it out. Hit the link. It's all in chronological order. Underneath, show notes. Man, I've been yawning all day. I've been beat all day. Here's the play a little bit of it. Why not? It's about brain chips. If you're new here, yeah, we do little.
I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how perfect it is? I like the cameras the old days. So
remember Yuval Noah Harari talked about under the skin?
just had a nice feature. Now they cover every little. Let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. You're not gonna, but I tell you, it's the 6 is coming, huh?
He may have sounded like he was joking about them being able to track under your skin, but this is exactly what they're planning and capable of, actually. In the midst of a long list of implantable technologies lies one particularly important aspect to this agenda, the biological interface system to cortex or BISC, a silicon chip that is about as thin as a single human hair.
Speaking of that, today, I don't know if where you guys are all from, but I'm in North Carolina. We had the storms here on the East Coast today. And oddly enough, all the schools were closed today. They took the day off. I don't know if it was because of the storm. It was a rainstorm. There was a couple tornadoes. Maybe there was it was 2 tornado warnings I know of. But all the schools I saw were closed today. So it makes me remember during the Rona and anytime else, what were they doing at the schools? What were they putting up on the roofs or anything like that? I don't know. I don't know anybody that was checking them out, but it was very eyebrow raising was all the schools were closed on a rainy day. That the rain didn't even start till about 10. Here's ICE is now reportedly using undercover Subaru Outbacks, the official vehicle of leftists. Actually, I know guys that aren't leftists and aren't lesbians, but they drive Subarus. To catch illegals off guard, this is a brilliant tactic. It's also called Decepticons. It's kind of like when the cops have the unmarked vehicles. You're supposed to be out there so that people know who you are, so they can run to you if they need help. Not these days. These days, it's all Decepticons. You don't know what they are because they blend into everyone, and then they pop up when they want to get you. There was a car. I saw a pink, might have been a Subaru station wagon. It looks like pinkish station wagon in Denver, Colorado. Ended up being a cop car. And I remember telling the rider I was driving when I was doing Uber, going, "How do you know that's a cop? Someone's robbing you. You run by that car thinking there's somebody else. Whereas if you see there's a cop in here, you run to the cop for help. Nope. We have to have Decepticons. And it's just like we had before, they're over at Home Depot and Lowe's are all connected to the, they gotta deal with eyes so they can come in and, facial rec here, come get them. China has surrounded Taiwan with 26 airplanes, 26 airplanes, 26 warplanes, and 7 warships. I ran away from the Epstein files. Here's a Gen X girl. Upload all your personal and identifiable information to Grok, SSN, health data, confidential files. So many dummies will do it. So many dummies will do it. I'm trying to read, and I'm failing. Here it is. X freeze. You can upload up to 100 files, images, PDFs, or documents directly to Grok, whether it's text, tax documents, medical records, confidential files, contracts, or office projects. Grok helps you analyze everything in seconds. And don't worry, when they come over with their money, they'll cut you off, throw you in the river. ICE agents revealed daily arrest quotas and surveillance app in rare court testimony. Under oath, officers said they were told to make 8 arrests a day and given special tech to help choose targets. U.S. immigration agents in Oregon used a custom-made app to identify neighbors and people to target and had daily arrest quotas, which we already talked about, so they thought to meet during operations. Class action suit filed by Innovation Law Lab, an immigrants' right nonprofit, challenged ICE's practice during detaining people without warrants or probable cause. Advocates said the tactic resulted in widespread racial profiling. It did. Unconstitutional arrests. It did. And a federal judge sided with the plaintiffs, issuing a ruling broadly halting warrantless arrests in Oregon. Good. They need a warrant. Anyway, we talked about having the quota before. We brought that up before there was a lawsuit. Ray Charles saw that. The app we brought over. See, this shows you that even this idiot right here doing this show. I mean, some of the alt media is ahead of it too. But we talked about this, 3, 4, 5 months ago? Exactly that. They're using this tech. They're using this. They got a quota. Happening soon. Trump will sign an executive order this afternoon in the Oval Office alongside President J.D. Vance to officially establish and launch a fraud task force, a whole government effort to hunt down and prosecute massive waste, fraud, and abuse, ripping off American taxpayers. They call that Doge. This is another promise made and kept by Trump. Doge? He announced this on the State of the Union address, announced that the vice president will be overseeing this task force. It's Doge. This is really going to establish a whole government effort to fight fraud at both the state and federal level. Just more centralization for the government, the national general government to attack the states. And it's also called Doge. The artist formerly known as Doge. Here's Whitney Webb on Peter Thiel, who owns J.D. Vance, attempt to rebrand Christianity. Because, right now he's doing the Antichrist lectures. I'll go ahead on a little playlist. Whitney play a little bit right here. Hopefully she won't drop any wordy nerds.
So to be honest, I think like Peter Thiel's Antichrist stuff, there's an attempt there to rebrand Christianity in ways that are more compatible with Silicon Valley's deep involvement in the U.S. military, which slaughters civilians, and also the Israeli military, which slaughters civilians. and there's sort of a way, an attempt there to develop a new form of a more violent Christianity, which, you know,
Exeth right now.
most Christians I would think would be against.
Yeah.
But they're particularly marketing this not necessarily to the general American public, but a select number of people in Silicon Valley or up and coming people in the technology scene that identify as Christians. So, you know, Peter Thiel's Antichrist series, only certain people were invited to that. It was not a publicly broadcast thing. They're not trying to sway the public with that. That's kind of, they're going after a niche group there. And then you have Trey Stevens, who's he's a obvious spook, but he's a very Thiel linked one. Big Palantir guy before that was involved in U.S. intelligence stuff in Afghanistan, but he co-founded Anduril with Palmer Luckey, which is doing a lot of this autonomous warfare stuff. But beyond that, he also created, his wife nominally created, but he clearly runs it with his wife, called Act 17. That's kind of this collective in Silicon Valley about trying to bring Christianity back to Silicon Valley, and it's this particular brand of it.
Interesting. This is just interesting.
So the religious Zionism thing, I think, is a little different if you're talking about what were once an extremist group in Judaism, but you know, obviously it's expanded since then. But I definitely want to make it very clear that I don't think all Jews fall in this category, even remotely. But there is, you know, this particular faction that's very obsessed with hastening the end times, but there's also a group of Christians that's very obsessed with that. And, you know, I wrote about this back for Mint Press, I think in 2019. It's just sort of the history of how that developed on both sides, and the idea that these groups have opportunistically used each other, and they don't necessarily like each other.
Right.
But they opportunistically use each other to try and hasten the same end times, but they think the end times will have different outcomes, obviously.
Exactly.
And actually the Christian version of that, the Christian Zionist believed outcome of the end times, has been criticized as being deeply anti-Semitic, ironically enough.
Yeah.
But it's basically, for both ends, it's born out of this idea that God isn't acting quickly enough, and so we must do things to hasten the end times, because we don't want to wait, to paraphrase the you know, the Schneerson song.
I'm just reading Mark's thing. Mark, did you take a break or something? Here's a photo of Peter Thiel giving the Antichrist lectures in Rome. The tech billionaire oligarch warning us about a dystopia he's actively building in the city that perfected empire is almost too little on brand for 2026. There's a cassock of some sort over there. He goes, headline, Trump families jocketing to replace the dollar globally as their wealth soars. We've kind of touched on that a minute ago in the opening link. Clear as mud, that's the point. Trump and family set up an ecosystem that they control exclusively. The value started at zero in September 2024 and has grown to over $13 billion in just 18 months as of February 2026. The Pentagram has handed Anduril up to $20 billion for modern battlefield tech. Meanwhile, it failed 8 audits and can't account for nearly $5 trillion in assets. Amazing how efficiency only matters when it's for war, never the spending budget or the national debt. Yay! Here. Can I play it? Maybe. I won't play it. It's a 2008 interview. Trump admitted he wanted Bush to be impeached for the Iraq war. Quote, Bush got us into this horrible war by lying, by saying all sorts of things that turned out not to be true. It seems like he's come full circle. UAE spy chic bought secret 49% stake in Trump crypto company World Liberty Financial. Again, we mentioned this at the beginning. There's a photo of who the guy is. Calhoun. Jerusalem Post, Mohammed bin Salman urges Trump to keep hitting Iran hard. This follows the same advice of the late Saudi King Abdullah, who had reportedly told Washington repeatedly to cut off the head of a snake. That's the guy that used to have a $20 million bounty on his head, by the way. Trump demands death penalty for reporters in unhinged war rant. Okie dokie, that escalated very quickly. Whoops, wrong button. Yeah, here's JP Sears. So let's play a little bit of it. Hey man, what's Zionism?
Became an organized movement in the 1890s with major financial backing from the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds? Yeah, you know, the control banking, world government, secretive global control family. Those Rothschilds? Yep, those Rothschilds. Specifically, it was Edmund D. Rothschild that helped launch Zionism. So it's not the same thing as Judaism? No. What Zionism is runs in opposition to actual Judaism, which technically makes Zionism anti-Semitic when you think about it. But I don't think you're supposed to think about it because that creates problems for powerful people. Okay, so actual Judaism is not Zionism. Correct. Zionism violates the values of Judaism, so they're not the same and kind of very different. I thought Judaism and Zionism just went together. That's confusing. I think it's meant to be confusing. I thought Zionism was biblical. No, it's a political ideology from the 1890s. Judaism is the biblical one. Rothschilds, Zionism. So you're saying it's the same Rothschilds that most of us think control governments around the world? Yeah, same name, same bloodline. Huh. How would the Rothschilds control the U.S.? You ever hear of Israel? What do the Rothschilds have to do with Israel? They helped create it. They played a very pivotal role in the early development of the Zionist community in Palestine and the eventual creation of the state of Israel. So you think the Rothschilds might have some...
You know where it's YouTube channel, all that stuff. That's a 9-minute thing, so we'll keep going because we're already 40 minutes in and we still got a lot to go. The honey badger, Ted Cruz has sealed his fate because if you've seen the thing about Ted Cruz, there's a Tel Aviv Cruz. Read every word of this. It's the best and most comprehensive explanation of what we're fighting. Thanks to Insurrection Barbie, you know, that good old cheerleading lady who went from kind of cool, I guess, from years ago. I don't know. From what I understand, she was okay to deal with. Now she's just a bootlicking cheerleader for the regime. And wrote this article on the long game and the conservative right, how the network of political Catholic integralists, Russian ideologues, and media provocateurs are systematically dismantling the evangelical foundation of the American right. And Tel Aviv Cruz loved it. The honey badger comes out. Ted Cruz has sealed his fate. He's now stooped for endorsing the Catholic-hating, bigoted AI article written by an account named Insurrection Barbie. Who is this person, you may ask? Her name is Irina something Sedano. 2017, pled guilty felony theft, $2,000. 2017, disbarred. 2018, fraud and forgery charges. 2020, felony theft, $80,000. 2022, Insurrection Barbie on X. 2024, peddles in Israel propaganda. 2025, runs fake Bible study spaces posing as an evangelical Christian. Please note there is at least 5 people with access to this account, all with a visceral hate of the Catholic faith. I don't. There's something. It was one of my Ryan Christian of Last American Vagabond talked about that there were some fishy things behind her and a couple other people like that too. But yeah, Trump comes in, and this lady went just like all these other ones. European countries reject Trump's call to help to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Leaders seek a diplomatic solution despite U.S. President's threat of a very bad future for NATO unless it provides warships. That's way threatened. Now we'll do it. Yeah, 3 days ago, Trump, Iran has tomahawk weapons. Trump today. Look, nobody has the tech or the weapons that we have. We have the tomahawks. Somebody got to tell them just stop. Or give them some ice cream like they did with Brandon. How about that? Might be the best way to do it. The EU's blunt response to Trump on Iran. This is not Europe's war. Get on that. Rise of drone warfare sharpens focus on laser defense. Yep. You remember we mentioned this last week with the lasers taking out some of the things because they're out of missiles. Here's Colonel McGregor.
Well, this is madness. I mean, this is what they call the Greater Israel Project. And this was an idea that has been around for a long time, but unfortunately the current government has taken it up and decided that this is the time to achieve it. The Greater Israel Project simply means that at least half of Lebanon, southern Syria, Jordan, parts of northern Saudi Arabia, the Sinai Peninsula, and Upper Egypt, including the Nile and beyond, should all be part of Israel on the assumption that this was somehow or another promised in ancient text, in biblical text to the Jews. Well, I don't know what was said 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, but I don't think it has much currency today. And what they're doing is trying to kill their way to success. Remember, all this began with the policy of mass murder and expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza and the West Bank. So literally, Israel is in the business of killing their way to the Greater Israel Project, and we're supporting it. The American people were never asked, do you want to support this? Do you think it's a good idea? We didn't vote on this. But the Zionist lobby inside the United States, backed by billionaires in the United States, controls votes in Congress and has essentially put Mr. Trump into the White House. And I think we foolishly decided that we would go along with this. The problem is it hasn't.
Here is Colonel Lawrence Wilkinson. I watched Mossad take over the pentagram in 2002. The pentagram was infiltrated by Mossad. They did not need any identification to get through the river entrance to the building. They went upstairs to Douglas Feith, the Undersecretary of Defense for the policy, the third most powerful man in the Defense Department. Occasionally, they went to the second most powerful man, Paul Wolfowitz, the Department's Secretary of Defense. And they had the run of the pentagram. Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary of Defense, said to my boss one time, hell, I don't run my building, Mossad does. Former Chief of State of the State Department, Colonel Lawrence Wilkinson, on going underground. I've heard this one many, many times. Trump's billionaire advisor publicly rebukes Iran war as J.D. Thiel camp erupts over Israel nuke threat. One of Trump's closest adversaries has broken with the president over his war with Iran, warning the conflict risks spiraling into nuclear catastrophe. You think? David Sachs, Trump's czar for AI and cryptocurrency, said Israel was weighing whether to deploy a nuclear weapon against the Islamic regime. Wait, I didn't think Israel had a nuclear weapon. They're not supposed to say they do, so they don't get anybody come in and check on them. Sachs, a close ally of Vice President J.D. Thiel, made the remarks on an all-in podcast, cautioning there are risks of an escalatory approach by Israel. Israel could get seriously destroyed, he said. And when you have to worry about Israel escalating the war by contemplating using a nuclear weapon, again, that goes into the Samson protocol, the Samson idea there, which they'll just take everyone out with them. When they get backed in the corner, everyone goes down with them. Let's see. We'll play. Why not? From our greatest ally. Yes, exactly. Don't you? With friends like that, who needs enemies?
There are at least 4 Americans being held at Evin prison that we know of, including a journalist, Reza Valizadeh, and Cameron Hekmati, a 61-year-old man. What is the status of those Americans? Are they safe?
Well, if the U.S. and Israel do not attack our prisons, I guess they are safe.
President Trump said this weekend he is not ready to make a deal with Iran because the terms aren't good enough yet. His administration is saying this war could last another 3.5 weeks or so. Has Iran asked for a ceasefire?
No, we never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes, and this is what we have done so far, and we continue to do that until President Trump comes to the point that this is an illegal war with no victory, and there are people being killed only because President Trump wants to have fun. This is what he has said.
Have fun?
We are not. Yes, this is what he said, that they are sinking, ships and targeting different places because it is fun. And
I got the clip of that.
The Secretary of War has said that there is no mercy. And this is actually a war crime. Even saying that is a war crime. So this is a war. This is a war of choice by President Trump and the United States, and we are going to continue our self-defense.
Yeah, justice does seem to be on Iran's side. Here's Trump because it's a little unfair of Iran to fight back. LB Game Slip says, bro, Trump really said that? Yeah, it's really unfair. If you don't believe me, I'll play it. Trump says this. I can't believe it.
So it's a little unfair. You win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard. And today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that has very much to do with the Strait, and I think we'll get it going very soon. So it's a little unfair.
Little unfair.
اینکه ما میگوییم آتش بس نمیخواهیم نه به این دلیل که دنبال جنگ هستیم، به این دلیل که این بار این جنگ باید به شکلی تمام بشود که دشمنان ما دیگر هرگز به فکر تکرار این حملات و این تجاوز نیفتند. و من فکر میکنم تا همین الان هم درس خوبی فرا گرفتند. فهمیدند که با چه ملتی طرف هستند که در دفاع از خودش هیچ تردیدی نمیکنه.
Sorry, I didn't think I didn't play it before and to see if he spoke English or not. So my apologies. Yeah, how dare they? I can't believe they're defending them. They have no right to defend themselves. We should just kill them. There's Trump admitting that they have the bomb.
He also warned that if the conflict escalates, Israel may contemplate the use of a nuclear weapon. Has he shared that assessment with you?
No, yes. Israel wouldn't do that. Israel would never do that. And there's a theory. You pounded them to hell and you could just leave now, and it'll take 10 years for them to build back not nearly what they have right now. And I guess that's another theory, but we want.
I'm surprised they didn't say build back better. Here is the part about him saying that they were having fun doing it. It's more fun to sink a ship.
The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We're going to use it. Why did we sink them? He said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably.
And would you get upset if you were the other side? You're like, I would not be happy about that. And Hoxino, too left leaning for me. I'm surprised. What you mean by that? Because if this is the first time in here, you know that I poo-poo on the Tea Party politics, the fake left and the fake right. So what do you mean by too left leaning? Because I don't play the left right thing. See, Sean asked, is Bibi alive? I mean, everyone and their brother is talking about the AI videos. And they brought him out there. He's probably hurt. All right. My thing is he's either hurt or he's dead. Now, I have no idea though. They're not going to tell us right now. I bet he's probably hurt. Outside of that, because the latest video came out that talked about he was at some kind of coffee shop and the coffee hasn't gone down. So not 100% sure, but it is questionable and is interesting about it. But no way to verify that 100% unless you're literally, if anybody can get DJT to, maybe give him a couple drinks, maybe he'll start saying that he's dead or something. Here's Trump saying, why did you start the war with Iran? Trump, Israel was under threat, so we had to attack Israel first. As Ryan Christian says, now Trump says what Trump recently denied. How ridiculous all this is. American servicemen are dying to fight Israel's war again, while Israel commits a multinational genocide with U.S. government support. Anyone defending this is not fighting for American interests. Again, how can anybody say, those guys died for it? No, they didn't die for it. There's 6 people that died, 8 servicemen that died. They didn't die for the states. They died for Israel. Now, if that gets somebody upset, again, truth is conforming your mind to reality. What is truth? Facts over opinion, facts over emotion right there. People are dying for Israel. Trump just called up, 5,000? Was it 5,000? Who is it? Judge Knapp asked, what are they going to do? I think it was one of the former CIA guys. He goes, they're going to die. Pretty much what he said. He goes, they're going over there to die because they can't send the ship up the strait. So what they're going to do is drop them off there and have them walk 1,600 miles to get to Iran. It's either just a phony baloney number that they're picking out, or they're really trying to send them over to get maybe it could be a false flag. Make them shoot it at it. I don't know. Israel's bombing the heck out of Lebanon. Yep, got info on that one coming up soon. Ben Shapiro praises Trump's Iran strikes the single bravest foreign policy move in my lifetime. The Daily Wire co-founder tells Laura Trump the operation could be a game changer for America's role in the world. Sick. Totally sick. Pope Leo calls on journalists to report on U.S.-Israeli war on Iran through the eyes of its victims, pointing out the responsibility of the press to ensure information does not become a source of false narrative. Someone asked, is this a just war? Just war? No, it's not a just war. And actually, I redid a sermon from 2009, 2010. I played it I aired it yesterday, and that literally gets into just war theory and all that from the perspective of Iraq war. Cock enough. It's the next door neighbor to it. Yes, this is getting weird. Yes, it is. There's a good old Christian nationalist here, Pete Hegseth.
If Iran thinks they're going to attrit our will, they're wrong. Our capabilities are better. Our will is better. Our troops are better. The providence of our Almighty God is there protecting those troops, and we're committed to this mission.
Attualmente nel mondo, molti nostri fratelli e sorelle soffrono a causa di conflitti violenti provocati dall'assurda pretesa di risolvere I problemi e le divergenze con la guerra.
I mean, obviously, we're fighting religious fanatics who seek a nuclear capability in order for some religious Armageddon. But from my perspective, I mean, obviously, I'm a man of faith who encourages our troops to lean into their faith, rely on God. There's no atheists in foxholes.
Mentre bisogna dialogare senza tregua per la pace. Qualcuno poi pretende addirittura di coinvolgere il nome di Dio in queste scelte di morte. Ma Dio non può essere arruolato dalle
God
tenebre.
cannot be enlisted in darkness.
Egli viene piuttosto sempre a donare luce, speranza e pace all'umanità. Ed è la pace che devono cercare quelli che lo invocano.
Get on the postman right on this. Somebody said something. Who was it? Was it that Orthodox guy on Twitter? He has some good videos sometimes. He said that most of us were Zionists. What are you talking about, dude? Gen X girl, Trump, Epstein, Fury, February 28th. War is about nukes, March 1st. Declared victory, March 3rd. War is about U.S. elections, March 4th. War is about human rights, March 7th. We're winning the war, March 11th. Declared victory 5 times, March 14th. War is won, allies need to help, March 13th through the 15th. War is won and liberating LGBTQ. And March 16th, Calamari is gay. Trump briefed with Iran's new supreme leader, Khamenei is probably gay, and president has priceless reaction. Yeah, let me play this one. This is just who is it? Justin Amash retweeted this one, saying, "We are led by morons
and power." Look what happened in the last 2 weeks. They weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. Those missiles were set to go after them. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. And power. Look what happened in the last.
We were so host. Where is Hacho Kamachi when you need him? Please, please. Cheers. Yeah. Somebody's somewhere out there. So Brandon's going, man, I didn't sound that bad, did I? Just then, Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi is now mocking Trump with a smile on his face. So it's not in English, but it says the United States, which has been seeking our unconditional surrender, is now appealing to other countries to get the Strait of Hormuz reopened. I give it to the foreign minister. He has some moxie on him, and he has some great one-liners. I mean, he will. Trump is saying whatever he wants to say. He's trying to get the tweets out. These guys are just like, it's like that guy at the park, the park and street ball. It just nails you all the time. Can you explain why you're sending 5,000 Marines and sailors? Trump, you're an obnoxious person. What? Oh. Please, dear Lord, help us. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Off Guardian, the retweeting fuel. The more days pass, the more I'm convinced this might be the biggest staged event in the 21st century. I said that with a couple other friends the day it happened. And I know guys who run big apostolates that thought this was the greatest miracle in the history of miracles. First class miracle was their quote. Literally verbatim comments. Guys that just were on his side from the start, wanted to get retweeted by DJT, wanted to go to Mar-a-Lago. They thought this was they were making it memes. Our Lady was moving the bullet. God helped him out. God saved it. Vander Holyfield's ear is still messed up. Trump's ear miraculously was healed in a matter of weeks. But anyway, Off Guardian says, well, was it? I had to think there was so many coincidences at the time. By the way, after that was over, that was when the election I said was over. Trump was going in. That what happened a little bit after? Brandon quit. You bring in Cop Mala comes in for a body. Every channel turned into Trump shoot. Yeah, I know. I think it was a Was it a Sunday too? Yeah, it was a Sunday. This is like the only time I really sit down and I'll turn on. I think I went to turn on the local news or see if a game was on, and that was wall to wall coverage. Had to be a Sunday. I think I'm pretty sure it was. And here is Crew the last couple. I've had it on for since this evening, and it was in the red earlier. It's up $2. It's up $2.60 now. It was down a couple bucks 4 o'clock when I originally had this on. This is kind of funny. It was a Saturday. Okay, Lips, it was a Saturday. I can't remember. I'll give them all. When's today? I knew it ended in day.
Tweets. A message to the President of the United States. The outcome of war cannot be determined by tweets. The result of a war is determined in the field, the very place where you and your forces do not dare to approach, and you can only talk about it in your tweets. It's better to name this war as Epic Fear instead of Epic Fury.
That's not good with these guys. They know how to give it back. This war will not be won by tweets. We got to call it an Epic Fear. Trump's cancellation of licenses for immigrant truckers takes effect. Here's a local news report on, where did it go? I have it up here somewhere. Anyway, some 200,000 immigrant truck drivers will begin to lose their commercial CDLs as they expire under the new Trump administration rule that takes effect on Monday. The Transportation Department's rule will weigh on the belligerent trucking industry, which is critical to transporting goods across America at a time when energy costs are surging due to the war in Iraq. Don't tell me this is a coincidence or not a coincidence. Don't tell me this wasn't a plan. There was no way that they didn't know, you know what? We may want to pause this. They knew this was coming. There's no way this was accidental. Trucking rates will skyrocket. Yep, better learn how to grow some food. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt explains how Trump is begging for help from NATO and Gulf allies in opening up the energy critical Strait. Gas prices continue to skyrocket in U.S. as the war on Iran drags on. Flying in America is about to get more expensive and less fun. The Iran war is driving up jet fuel prices. While the DHS shutdown creates long lines at airport security, there is no end in sight for either of them. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. TSA should be eliminated anyways. That's Department of Homeland Security should be gone anyways. Unconstitutional, illegal, all that jazz. It turns you everyone is a terrorist in those minds. I hate those guys. Anyways, yeah, and then price is going to go up from gas and all. Again, Ray Charles can see all this coming. 300 TSA agents quit their jobs amid partial government shutdown. Here is Iran war and fuel rationing. Are energy lockdowns on the way? Let's go ahead and take a look at it because that's part of the say it all together. Great reset. The 4IR. I was telling somebody at the gym about it. He was like, what are you talking about? 4IR. There's people still today. They have no clue about all this stuff that went on down there. No gas, no flying, big shocker. Again, if you look on Friday, I have the PDF up there in there. It's in the link. I left it. If you guys want to go into Friday, go to senseofidelium.com, scroll down, you'll see the Clown Planet. Look on Fridays. Click the link that has the PDF of the absolute zero. You'll see it. Absolute zero. 2030, no more gas. I fly like Greyhound. It's how we fly in the hood. I remember riding on a Greyhound bus when I was a kid. We went up to Cincinnati where the rest of my family lived. My cousins, aunts, and uncles are all in Cincinnati. It took forever. I remember, but how will you have your TSA pre-check? Yep. Well, at least you'll get the AI to do it. All right. Iran war and fuel rationings. Are energy lockdowns on the way? By Kit Knightley. The war on Iran is having an impact on that most people with any sense knew it would have. The price of oil is going up and the supply of oil is going down. Of course, whether or not the latter of these are actually true, we will never know, and that's besides the point. Oil companies will naturally take the slightest excuse to price gouge and contrive scarcity for the basis of profit motives. Yeah. It also serves as a political motive as well, since we know that global political machinery is against free travel, against fossil fuels, and against people being able to afford basically anything, which is, of course, another reason we should say the ultimate real reason why the head of BP is screaming about fuel rationing. UK should brace for fuel rationing over Iran war crisis. Former BP chief Warren Starmer. Sri Lanka and Thailand have already brought in rationing measures. In Vietnam, they will be grounding flights beginning in April due to jet fuel shortages, which is in literally 15 days. On Friday, it was reported that global fuel shortage may be just days away. Pakistan, Vietnam, Bangladesh, and Thailand have also instituted remote work for government employees. In Denmark, it's not policy yet, only a suggestion, with government ministers begging, please, 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 not to drive and to reduce their energy usage at home. Australia is going the panic buying causes shortage route. Bloomberg is warning that the fuel crisis may threaten the global food supply. It's all kind of familiar, isn't it? In case you're not picking up what we're putting down here, the Financial Post is warning oil prices could get high enough to force a COVID-level lockdown. This is the first time I read that, and we've been taught saying that. How many times we've been saying it for over a week now? Even Rick was asking me, explain. What do you mean? Financial Post warning: oil prices could get high enough to force a COVID-level lockdown. You know what? I'm going to share that around with some people because they don't believe it. COVID 2.0. Former White House energy advisor says there's nothing America can do to open the Strait of Hormuz. What a massive I'm playing. Dude, they're going to ban me for that because I played 15 seconds. Iran has allowed at least 4 vessels to transit the Strait of Hormuz in the last 24 hours, but routed them through the Larak-Qasem Channel inside Iranian territorial waters rather than the usual international shipping lanes, according to marine traffic. These ships included 3 bulk carriers, 2 Greek, 1 Indian, and a Pakistani Aframax tanker carrying Abu Dhabi crude, the first non-Iranian cargo to pass the checkpoint while broadcasting its AIS signal. Analysts say the move suggests Tehran is verifying ownership and cargo before permitting transit. I've actually seen them say that they are open to anybody that's not Zionist. Seeds and potato bags. Should order seeds now. I've been procrastinating. Yep. Get those seeds down now. Get them now. Start putting them in. The downside to this, the good side, it's getting warmer, so it'll be easier to grow. Downside to like this week is driving me batty is the geoengineering of the weather. We got freezing temperatures the next 3 nights. So I got covers on my strawberries. I covered up the pineapples, which are looking great right now, and the avocado and the lime. And I got peach blossoms all over the 2 peach trees. As long as it doesn't get too darn cold, we're good. But is Everclear used to make all tinctures? No, not Everclear is not used to make all tinctures. It can be used to make a lot of tinctures. Really, any alcohol will work. Anything over 80 proof. It's really about your taste. Vodka is best. Vodka is a good choice for a lot of people because there's no taste to it. I did make an Everclear tincture of the sleep tincture. Was it? And I think it was that. And I didn't notice any difference between that and the vodka. Some Dr. Nicole what's her last name? Apocryphy. She uses brandy sometimes. So I mean, again, it's all about what you want to have in your taste. We can't start growing stuff mostly until, where are you at, Brooke? Where are you at? Till early May? Man. In Iowa, last chance of frost is in May. Yeah, I get that, because Denver it's snowed every year the first week of May in Denver. But you can put it in seeds right now, which really highly recommended it. Detroit area. Sorry, Kid Rock. Anyways, you can still grow out of a seed tray right now. You should. All you need is light. So like right now, if I could take the camera, I would just be a pain neck to get it back connected. I have over here a 4-story, kind of like a seed starter tray thing. I got it from Amazon, like $50 5 years ago or something like that, 4 years ago. And it comes with a grow light on every level. And that's all it is. I have a little thing. I have a timer on it. It turns on at 12, it gives a 12-hour light. Comes on at like 8 o'clock, like that. I got it set, and it'll go off at 8 o'clock at night. And you get a couple seed trays, get a warming thing connected, just power it on, turn it on, put the seed tray on it. You will germinate whatever you want. Do cats bother plants? No. But if you want to get catnip, they will go to the catnip and never touch anything else you want. It's a mint. It's also medicinal to you, but cats love it. Catnip is an herb. It comes from the mint family. But I mean, if you have it on a tray, I mean, I could see them a cat climbing up on this stuff just because it's like a ladder, a step for them. So I would just put something in the way that they can't jump in it or anything like that. We go catnip in a garden for the cat, yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, I want to put, there's melons. They're hanging all over the place inside there. And I'd love to put them out there, but it's too cold right now. I got to wait till Thursday, Friday to put the melons out and the peppers because the cold would kill them. I just planted 2 pawpaws today. Those will take forever, though, unfortunately. But everything else, the berries and things like that, were going. Friday, Steve, end of your Friday video had a ton of awesome suggestions about growing. Can you maybe do a quick grow podcast for us? Yes, I'm actually planning on doing something on the gardening channel sometime soon. And I was going to do a podcast on 20 herbs and fruits that are in the Bible and nutritional value of it and how good they are for you. Because somebody else did it and he kind of went overboard on a lot of things. I'm like, okay, now you're just making some things up. There's a couple channels like that, but there's some good channels that will talk about that. I hear Catholic survivalists are prepping. Really? You don't need to worry about prepping in a sense, like the old thing of getting 50,000 cans. If you grow enough stuff, you can you just have to wait till next year type deal thing. Like potatoes. You can grow potatoes. I got them in pots. Vertical, but if you grow take a we call it like a little chain link fence type deal, make a circle of it, put some dirt in the middle, throw some tubers in it, let them grow a little bit with a sprout. Then when that sprouts, throw some more dirt on it, let it sprout through, then throw some more dirt on it, let it sprout, then throw some more dirt on it. And after when all that's grown, you can unlock that thing and you might have 200 potatoes already. What you do is you make sure you have it in a cool, dry place and you can let it sit there. There's a group called, there's a channel called More Than Gardening. I think it's I think it's More Than Gardening. I think it is. And, he built a downstairs type of a unit where it's already had a little downstairs type deal thing, but he made it so he can put they do one-time growing of everything. Amazon wants $100 for pawpaw. Good Lord. It must be an old tree. I got one for $15, but it was, 2 feet tall. You need special planting. I hear you need special planting potatoes. No, you can do any potato you want as long as the eye grows out of it. And really, you don't even need to worry about organic, because what they do is they usually the grocery store spray something on it to prevent the eye from forming, which you'll see it kind of sprouts. Any potato can do that. So all you have to do is right when that sprouts, go ahead and put, that's why they tell you don't put it in the sun. Any potato will do that. The spraying of it delays that from happening. So right when that starts growing, you take that, you can throw it in the ground, and you might get 5, 10 potatoes out of that later on. You'll see it sprout. Don't take it out until after the foliage dies, and then pull it out. You get it. Chicken wire. That's it. Chicken wire. Thank you. Christopher, the Christ bearer, is the man with the plan on that. Yes, chicken wire is what I was thinking about. Couldn't get this noggin to work at that time. Might grow tray. I just have to find another place to put tomatoes and onions. As far as now, it'd be hard to do that in the grow. You don't do that in a grow tray with tomatoes, or you can do that with onions. You can grow some that you started out in the seed tray, but really, chives. You can put chives down one time; they'll grow forever, no matter how cold it gets. They use lots of basil. You can do that inside. I would recommend if you do basil brick outside, you put that inside. You got a window that has some light. Put it in the window. Let it grow from there. See, but yeah, you won't be able to do potatoes in a grow tray though. That's not going to happen. You have to do that outside. But if you do one major big thing, you can save all the potatoes you want for till the next time you do it. Onions, you can do that too with strawberries. Make sure you get the everbearing. June bearing will give you one big boost in June, but I like the everbearings that you keep going and going and going. Strawberry, blueberries. If you want to do blueberries, you got early ones and late ones that will do. So you get one of each, so that you have an early harvest and then a middle and then a late harvest. Service berry, I'm hoping for that for a little bit easier. You don't have to be, they're not princesses on that. But if you have your own place, get you a greenhouse, put it out back. You grow anything you want in that greenhouse as long as you got some kind of heat source. That works perfectly. What AI said, use certified seed potatoes every 1 to 2 years. Rotate crops and avoid planting potatoes in the same soil. That is correct. Now, yeah, you don't want to use the same soil over and over again because the disease will be in there. Free respect now, but I mean, certified or seeded potatoes, you don't need that. That's where AI is false on that. You can get any potato you want. You can go to the grocery store tomorrow, pick up potatoes from the grocery store, and that could be your tubers. Just what you do is go ahead and put them in the light, grab them from the store, put them in the light so that the stuff will grow from them. And then when you see it start growing, put them in the ground. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you can do bags. I tried bags the first year. I sucked at it. Sweet potatoes, it grows easier than regular potatoes, my personal thing. But yeah, potatoes, I mean, let's see. I got a lot of onions in the back. I just planted some lovage 2 days ago. Yesterday I put some I got some mustard greens right here. These are loaded with vitamin minerals. What did I put down yesterday? I just went stupid. Lamb's quarter. I put lamb's quarter, which is like the great spinach idea. Perfect. Carrots are very forgiving. Use look up skirrets. Those are carrots that you can pull out, cut them, put the plant back in, and it will grow more skirrets. The thing about why is it different? Because these skirrets they'll be like all over the place. They're kind of messy. But they're better than the carrots you get right now. Since these things will just grow. You cut them and then put it back down. They'll grow right back into it. Look that up. It's a pretty cool thing, and it's loaded. I've been trying to grow up here in North Texas, but we get too much red dirt, and that's not great for gardening. I'll put a thing on for red dirt. There's actually, what is it? Man, I can't remember what it is. There's a tree, there's an herb or tree. Was it herb or a tree that will take red dirt and transform it for you? I'll look it up. Okay, I'll have it up for Wednesday. Just remind me. Okay, Jedi Knight, remind me on that on Wednesday. I'll have it. Remember, I'll try to look it up the next 2 days. I remember seeing something about it, and I forget about its name right now. But yes, there is something for red dirt. Now, I have planted in the front of our rental is red dirt, clay dirt, and I got stuff planted and growing in it. So you can do that. Amaranth will work. Or it did work for me. I got amaranth that goes 6-7 feet tall. Some berries. I have in the back. I planted a for the butterflies. Milkweed. And that thing grew. That thing got huge. So yeah, it depends on it. I guess it just depends. I got some iron dirt up there too, and it worked. So give it a shot anyways. Just throw some seeds down. See what amaranth worked. I mean, I planted from seed, pushed it right in the red dirt. Bam, came right up. There are some that will grow in anything. Lamb quarters will grow in anything. Dandelion will grow in anything. Neither is our central case. Too much limestone. There's stuff you can get around it. There's ways to, and then on top of it, you plant stuff like things that will fertilize the soil, like clover. You'll be able to pull that off. Let me get back to it before it becomes a 9-hour show. Wife's going to be texting me, "What are you doing?" I'm talking about dirt. Here's the Independent. UK should brace for rationing over Iran war. Former BP warns Starmer. We are on top of that. American oil executives delivered a bleak message to Trump officials in recent days. The energy crisis the Iran war has unleashed is likely to get worse. Oh, color me shocked. The huge move was about the. I'll find out what it. Yes, you can do something like cow poop in March too. But there's a tree or herb. I can't remember what it is right now. I will find that for you because it dealt with that. Here, Australia in 19 days. Australian energy minister. We only have 18 days of gasoline, 16 days of diesel, and 14 days of aviation fuel. Here's the Geopolitics Empire. Great Reset. The Middle East war is close to triggering a global food shock worse than that unleashed by Russia 2022 full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Experts have said as fertilizer shortages threatening food production on multiple continents. Oh, don't forget, if you have acorns, you can grind up acorns in here. You got to work it the right way. Also, check out air potatoes. You can grow air potatoes on vines. If you don't know that, they're smaller, but you can do that. I tried that last year. It didn't work. David the Good usually has a few of those hanging around. The UK Independent Pharmacies Association urges Health Secretary to stockpile medicines as patients could soon be affected by worsening medicinal shortages due to Hormuz Strait blockade. Again, that's why I make tinctures. And again, like I said, wild lettuce, you can grow it, but it's great for pain and anxiety. So there's a lot of things that are good for anxiety, like moringa, not moringa. A mimosa tree. It looks like pom-poms. That's good for it. But yeah, story is during the war for Southern independence. Guys ran out of anesthesia and they used wild lettuce for amputations. I mean, I got that in a half-gallon mason jar. Put some vodka in it. Throw about how you make it this much. If it's 1/3 of the herb, the rest is the liquor. Derek Bros, more researchers are suspecting that whether on purpose or a convenient accident, the Iran war will impact the oil industry and lead to policies similar to COVID-19 84. The Iran war is reviving remote work across the world from Denmark to Vietnam. Nearly 3 weeks in the U.S. campaign in Iran, the war's ripple effects are throttling global fuel markets. Conflict has essentially blocked off the Strait of Hormuz, the vital choke point that has once carried 20% of the world's traded oil and liquefied gas. In a statement Tuesday, Vietnam's Ministry of Industry and Trade called on individuals and businesses to work alongside the government to help ensure national energy security. There's another example. Iran war. Yeah, we already talked about this. Growing number of fertilizer plants forced to shut, threatening rice and other harvests. Like rice. There are other ways you can do rice. Or, I mean, like I said, amaranth. This is the pink beauty. But if you get the amaranth, the big dog one, it grows pretty and has grains up top. You can make wheat. You can make bread out of the grains. Like they didn't know this before. Exactly. Talking about dirt is written on my heart. Yep. Environmental fallout from Iran war will be felt globally for decades. Yeah, not too shocked on that. Sorry, I'm moving a little bit fast. Still got a lot to go, and we're about to go an hour and a half. It's just crazy. High car payments make ownership feel impossible. Add in the fuel prices. Rising vehicle prices, auto loan interest rates, and insurance and maintenance costs are making it harder for people to buy or keep cars because you will own nothing and you will be happy. 3,800 workers strike at one of the largest meatpacking plants in these United States. Again, this is food. I don't know. I wish I could have chickens in the back. If I owned my own place and didn't have an HOA stupid here, I would have chickens in the backyard. But there are ways to get deer. There are other ways to get meat, and there's other ways to get protein. Again, lamb's quarter is a good way to get protein. A lot of herbs have protein in it. You know, the plant-based stuff that actually has some merit into it. I'm not talking about a plant-based meat or anything like that, but there is protein in plant moringa, for example. You get some moringa leaves. You're in Texas, grow a moringa tree. You're welcome. One cup, I think maybe it was is it 1 cup or 1 teaspoon? I have to look for the exact measurements. Or just one a day is going to be just incredible. The American dream is dead. Oh yeah, it's DEED. Deed. I thought Steve was shilling beyond burgers for a second. No. Paris thought there, Brick. No. No, but there's plenty of. I mean, you look at what this good stuff is. Like I said about watercress. They're using this. NASA's trying to use this to feed people in space or the Mars missions. There's a reason why. Fried squirrel. There's a. What is the name of that movie? It has a. Oh, I can't remember. It was on the Roman Empire. Was Tatum, whatever his name is. He's in it. And what the deal is he gets lost or he becomes a POW or lost in a war. And the guy with him is his prisoner, but ends up switching roles. And when he gets to their goal, and anyway, the guy captures a squirrel, and Tatum is the Roman. He goes, "I ain't eating a rodent." And the guy goes, "Well, die a Roman." Let me see. Yeah, it's too bad I don't live in Florida. I get some iguanas. Trump says the Lebanese, when bombed, get used to it. Does this mean the 200 plus children, Catholic priests, and 31 medic workers killed should get used to it? Israel carries out massive strikes on Christian districts in Lebanon, destroying civilian buildings, including a Catholic school, RT exclusive. One of them occurred in Nabatith, where 7 members of one family were killed. Here's Cuba's electric grid was suffering a total collapse, leaving about 10 million people without power. The collapse comes after the U.S. imposed an oil blockade. Just last week, Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel said that the country has not received a shipment of fuel in 3 months. Tel Aviv Cruz says the United States should prepare for terrorist attacks from Iranian sleeper cells located somewhere next to the WMDs. He says the risk of terrorist attacks in the country is at all-time high. And when we mean all-time high, we mean 0. The danger has never been higher than right now. And if you believe that, I have some beachfront property on Mars to sell you. This is pretty much just the lion fear porn right there. Yeah, rabbit stew is fantastic. Yes, the eagle. That's it. Cater. Yes, that's correct. The eagle. The movie was The Eagle. I was surprised anybody else saw that. Thank you for that. Yeah, but there's no sleeper cell. They've been saying this since 2001. I remember everyone, their brother, talking about that back then. Oh, we're going to get hit again. We're going to get hit again. We're going to get hit again. No one ever gets hit. Now, there would be maybe a false flag or two, but it ain't no sleeper cell. That guy walking around, the guy that did a shooting by himself with a T-shirt on, that isn't a sleeper cell. Here's DJT says that he's been briefed on Iranian sleeper cells inside the United States. We know where most of them are. We've got our eyes on them, I think. So what? You think we got eyes on most of them? They're spying on everybody, yet they don't know. Yeah, it's because either they know they have their own guys, a CIA guy, false flag thing, or they're full of their own, you know what. Here's Tom Woods saying, Ray is former CIA, Ray McGovern, expect the false flag terrorist, quote unquote, attack blamed on Iran in order to keep the U.S. enmeshed in Israel's misbegotten war. With Israel's very existence at stake, the Kappa Donald, ever more divorced from reality, Mossad could plant a quote unquote flag and get help hiding its role. There's the RT story on it. Yeah, I'm not afraid Iran is going to bomb California. I'm afraid U.S. is going to bomb California and blame it on Iran. RoboCops. This is the world's first robot arrest? Bizarre moment. Humanoid is detained by police after harassing elderly woman. This guy was made in jail for felonious karaoke rage. Incense per pulled gun over sports bar broken machine. Man, when you take your karaoke a little too far out there, that's what happened. Sometimes you just gotta, Oh, here's the migrant thing on the news. 200,000 migrant truckers will not be able to renew their CDLs under the new rule. Many U.S. adults are skipping parenting or having fewer kids, and it's forcing schools to close. Now in Florida, they're actually closing schools, I hear, because so many people are now homeschooling. Hundreds of people wear masks and queue at the University of Kent to get antibiotics after 2 people died from an outbreak of an invasive meningitis and 11 others are hospitalized with symptoms. 2 people. Let's lose our minds. Air taxi company Joby Aviation just completed demo flights across the San Francisco Bay Area, flying from Oakland to the Marion headlines in roughly 10 minutes. The flights kick off Joby's 2026 Electric Skies Tour, a nationwide showcase tied to America's 250th birthday. Here's 70% of carrot sales in America are baby carrots. The majority of these baby carrots sold in America go through chlorine before being sold. Lab tests shows that chlorine is still present when it's sold to eat. Toxic chlorine byproducts like triethylamines are absorbed directly into the flesh. This is according to peer-reviewed study, blah, blah, blah. Again, this is why you should just grow your own food. You know what's being sprayed and what's not being sprayed. The CDC data finds that the flu vaccine didn't really work this season. Womp womp. Chip Roy's bill would allow Americans to sue Coronavax companies if it passes. In sports, the United States of America beat the Dominican Republic in a couple of calls that were kind of like iffy. Anyways, I brought that up going, this is just because of giantism too. Dominican Republic is the size of Maryland. And it went up against the entire continent, pretty much the entire continent. And it's horrific. I'm going, oh, why can't you have to have the entire federal union, republic, going to have a team? Why can't you have California have a team? Why can't you have Texas have a team? No, you have to have it's giantism. This was just fun because I actually did this one summer. Marshall McFadden went from NFL linebacker to NASCAR jackman after injuries ended his football career, and he's hungry as ever. Those tires are not easy to put on, by the way. I did the front tires. I did the front tires for a race car just for the summer. Didn't even go to any of the events. And I was nowhere near as strong as I am right now. And it was hard. Those things are heavy. And then not only you see how fast they're putting it on, that's because they have to line the spokes to the holes. And if you don't, you get clank, clank, and that's seconds. So you're supposed to line it up. You see, you're supposed to come over, see where the thing is. Now I had we had the technique. You see how that guy is, except he was standing up and you just slowed it on. These guys are picking it up. But anyways, I thought it was fun to watch just because I was like, well, I did that once. This day. You probably never thought Steve actually worked on a pit crew. Just did it for a summer. 1621. Samsonet greets pilgrims at Plymouth Colony today. 2014 reported 97% of voters in Crimea chose to secede from Ukraine and join the Russian Federation. Always love secession movements, no matter what. 1995, Mississippi ratified the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. The first 13th Amendment was from the guy, and it was called the Corwin Amendment. Guy Corwin and Lincoln wanted to try to push it on the South. Perpetual slavery was the original 13th Amendment. Then they ended up doing this. By the way, the South turned down the perpetual slavery idea because, you can't have a war that's about slavery if the South said no to slavery. Anyway, Mississippi's ratification was not made official until 2013 when the state notified the U.S. Archivist because they weren't a state at the time. That's why. 1978, the Amoco Cadiz tanker ran aground and broke in two. 1974, the Grand Ole Opry show broadcast for the first time in the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville. 1968, during the Vietnam War, U.S. soldiers dispatched a search and destroy mission, killed as much as 500 unarmed civilians in My Lai. 1945, U.S. Marines captured the Japanese island of Iwo Jima. 1926, Jerry Lewis, whose unrestrained comic style made him one of the most popular performers in the 50s and 60s, was born in Newark, New Jersey. 1926, American inventor Robert Goddard launched the first successful liquid-propelled rocket. 1921, the Treaty of Moscow happened. 1850, American author Nathaniel Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter was published. 1802, U.S. Military Academy at West Point, New York, one of the oldest service academies in the world, was originally founded as a training center. 1751, James Madison was born in Virginia. 1521, Portuguese navigator Fernando Magellan, nice route Magellan, sailing around the Spanish flag on his circumvention of the globe, reached the Philippines, securing the first alliance in the Pacific Islands for Spain. And still a joke to this day. Anyway, God bless you. Have a great St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Remind anybody you see that St. Patrick was a great Catholic saint. There's a Protestant church down the road. It's a happy St. Patrick's Day. I go, really? Do you not know who the guy was? Anyway, have a great rest of the night. Thanks for sticking in with us. Talk to you later. See you on Hump Day.